negative connotations that surround feminism. It's being miscarried by some misinformed individuals. Women who hate men and call their movement feminism, tarnishing the name of such a good movement. And feminists themselves are viewed as men who hate, as women who hate men. Like myself, I'm told that I will never get married, I will never, fit into society as a feminist. And when I released my first book, being unapologetically feminist, I was dragged, by people on Twitter, on everywhere. Why are you calling yourself a feminist as if I called myself a terrorist? Something like that. And you realize that people don't know the true essence of feminism, such that it's a word, it's a movement that is filled with such a heavy and negative baggage. And it's a movement that's frowned upon, especially in our African setup. But what is feminism really? What is feminism? The true essence and true value of feminism. Feminism is a movement that seeks to establish equality between.
Hold on. I have told the person they see me not answering.
Alright. So it's a movement that seeks to establish equality between men and women in both social, economic, political, religious spheres. And it's important to know that feminists exist in two forms. We have the liberal and the radical feminists. The liberal feminists, like myself, believe that there should not be a complete turnaround of things for men and women to have equal opportunities. Patriarchy is not entirely a bad thing, to be honest with you. If it was, then society would not have come this far. We've come this far, our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, we've moved this far under this movement. So entirely, it has functioned for us. But now, feminism comes, and it seeks to liberate both men and women from the clutches of gender. We are all vulnerable in the face of gender. That's what we don't know. Gender colors the way we see things. Gender colors the way we see life. And it changes a lot of things. It forces us into certain spaces that we don't want to be. That's why you see men in this day and era are committing suicide more than ever. It's because of gender. We are also praised under gender. But we don't want to embrace a movement that is there to liberate all of us. So feminism, to me, I would say it's a humanitarian movement. It's a movement that serves us and creates a better world for all of us, so that we can be more free and we can be more happy. That's what feminism is, really, the true value of feminism. So moving on, why has feminism faced so much resentment? Why are people reluctant to embrace such a good movement? So feminism has been associated with extreme measures of it. And undeniably, men hating women have taken advantage of this movement and have completely overturned the principles that govern it. So, you realize that these women that I was talking about who hate men do it under the mantra, I am a feminist, and it tarnishes the whole image of the movement. And now everyone frowns upon the movement. And the fact that it's perceived as a hateful movement that seeks to apply reverse discrimination, the belief that men have to go down for women to go up, which is a completely wrong value system. And another belief is that it's a movement that goes against time-honored cultures and traditions. We have our cultures and traditions as Africans, and feminism comes and tries to disrupt those cultures and traditions, and people feel like it's not fit in. And the fact that its goals seem unapplicable to the existing status quo, which many people are reluctant to change and want to hold on to. Many people don't want to change. I don't know if you guys listen to, of course, Shadiah, who thinks that things should remain the same. He says that there is no need to change how things are. A complete turnaround. He's a very conservative man. That's what I realized. That things shouldn't change. Of which that's not it. Life is it's dynamic. It's constantly shifting. We are constantly innovating as human beings. We're constantly moving forward. And therefore our cultures are also dynamic. They are also shifting and constantly being innovated to suit us. So, in conclusion, the latest change has simply shut down the movement. People don't even want to think about it because they don't want to embrace it, even if it's good or it's bad. They just want to hold on to the values that have been instilled into us centuries and centuries ago. So, what good can feminism bring to all of us, as both men and women? Feminism is a sustainable and effective way of eradicating poverty. Why? When men and women are given the same equal opportunities, that means that we are able to share ideas. We are able to, there's a larger workforce, we're able to share ideas, work together. And when women are educated, they're also able to contribute something towards development of society. Feminism reduces the rate of child marriages. Do I need to explain that? Feminism also reduces domestic violence, abuse towards women and men. Cases of rape, human trafficking, and molestation are also reduced. It stimulates economic growth and sustainable development. Most importantly, it gives us a more flexible lifestyle that allows people to engage in certain things based on ability rather than because of societal pressures and expectations. We are more able to engage in things based on our abilities, not because we are forced to. Have you realized that, let's take, for example, the crisis in Ukraine. When the war broke out, women and children were put to safety, and men were left to hold the fort. And to be honest, not all men can do that, but because of gender and gender expectations, they're forced to hold the fort. While there's some women who may want to actually let out, and feminism allows us to focus more on our abilities rather than gender, making us more free. We engage in what we want, not because we are now freer. We have no expectations. We are not forced to do something. If you don't want to get married, then you don't get married, and you're not, criticized for making that decision. Now, feminism, in light of our cultures and religion, I think these two elements are the most common ones when it comes to feminism being shut down. We as a people, we are conservative. We want to keep our cultures and traditions, which we believe that are against this value of men and women being given the same opportunities. Now let's take a look at this. 1,000 years ago, or maybe let me say 100 years ago, twins were killed. We all know that. Albinos were murdered. It was a culture. But we evolved as a people and realized that there's nothing wrong with these people being given a chance to learn. It's a culture that evolved. And so many other cultures. We're constantly innovating. We're constantly developing ourselves as a people. So culture is dynamic. It's constantly shifting. Culture doesn't make a people, but we make a culture. And that culture is meant to serve us. Now, if a culture can't serve the people as it should, then it should be changed. Now, this culture of patriarchy is no longer serving us. Not only women, but men as well. That's why you're killing yourself. But you want to hold on to it because you don't know. Now, we need to bring about a new culture of gender tolerance. In fact, we need to do away with gender. We need to innovate as we should. Like I said, the eco culture is dynamic. It is constantly shifting to accommodate people as times are progressing. It is therefore important to cultivate a new culture that serves us, both men and women, and delivers from gender violence. And what I realized, the very first feminist that I've ever come across, the men that changed the feminist was a man, and that man was a pastor. So, please, guys, when you're talking about these issues, Musa, don't exaggerate things and say, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense, but you don't want it to make sense because you want to remain in this unworkable system that we're living in. So, number one, submissiveness in marriages would rather be consensual rather than coerced. Women contribute to the final say. I remember having a conversation with this other woman who was saying the thing about feminists is that they say women shouldn't be submissive. But do you know that if you are in a relationship with someone who understands you, who values you and equals you, it does not even look like you're being submissive. It does not. Because if he tells you to do something, he doesn't even tell you, he asks you to do something. You don't feel forced because you know he's doing it for my own good. Number two, gender-related problems like child marriages, women trafficking, rape, abuse of women, and male suicide are eradicated. We live in a more freer world. Women are valued and not just viewed as sex objects that you just rape and toy around with. Both men and women are free to be who they want to be and pursue what they want. Equal opportunities are given to both men and women. And men and women can have a better understanding of each other and appreciate each other equally despite their biological differences. So, that wraps it all. Feminism is a movement for all of us, both men and women. Men can be feminists, they can value this movement as well. And we can live in a more free and more colorful and just an amazing world. And if we just take the first step towards it, we can be there, we can reach there. Gender equality is not just a far-fetched dream. It can one day be a reality, just like race. Slowly we're becoming a white man and a black man have equal opportunities despite their color.
Yeah.
So, any questions?
Okay, let's say you're a girl and you're in a relationship with a guy, right? And you're okay with paying, but you don't want him to get too comfortable with that situation. Like, you want to pay the bills here and there on a date, but you also want him to know that in as much as I do like here and there, it doesn't have to be a situation where you can now get to a point where, a guy be like, yeah, he now feels like you're trying to take his position as a man just because you're like, you know what, let's split the bill today. You know what, I'm taking out. I wanna pay for fuel. I want to, and at times men start viewing it as if you're now taking over the pants. It now feels like you're trying to emasculate him. Is that the word for it? When in reality you're just trying to be yourself, and you understand that it doesn't always have to fall on you like every single thing. So how can you make sure a guy understands that?
I wish you hadn't said the word emasculate. I hate that word. There's nothing called emasculating someone. Honestly, why emasculate? Is there an opposite when it applies to women? There isn't. You get it? So it makes it seem like only men. It suggests something of toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
That alpha male kind of thing. The word emasculate, please don't use that. I don't like it. But I think that's more of a relationship question, whereby you have to communicate openly. You have to tell them what you value. Say, you know what, I know you get broke sometimes, you don't have to hide it. I can help, I can do that. And the thing about what you just mentioned is that we as women, or we as everybody, we associate masculinity with money.
For some reason.
Real men have money, which is a lie. Honestly, a man is a man, broke or rich, whatever.
But you still like money.
So you need to have an open conversation. There's a lot that needs to be done. honestly. But it all starts with a change of attitude. You need to have an open conversation with your partner. You know what? This is like that. You get it. If he doesn't value what you value, then you're not going anywhere, to be honest.